The Miami Heat made their sixth final appearance since 2010 and fell just short of getting a ring this year. While Jimmy Butler has been leading the charge for South Beach, the real unsung hero of the Miami Heat squad was their supporting cast, especially their undrafted power forward, Caleb Martin. The Heat's chances of making the finals were slim to none. An eighth seed coming into the playoffs, they played against the top two seeds of the Eastern Conference and went on to beat both of them with the help of Martin's huge impact. But how exactly does an undrafted player end up helping lead his team to the NBA Finals? Let's take a look back at Caleb Martin's life, from growing up in a trailer park to becoming a key player for the Miami Heat's finals run. And we'll see exactly how this will affect his future career in the NBA. You will definitely want to watch until the end to see just how crazy Caleb Martin's journey really was, working all this way to landing a spot on the Eastern Conference Championship team. If the Miami Heat had gone on to win the finals against Denver, they would have become the first eighth seed team in NBA history to win the NBA Finals. Do you know who the lowest seed to ever win an NBA Finals was before this year? Stick around until the end to find out. Now, before this season, no one really ever heard of Caleb Martin, unless you were a true fan of him since high school. Before this year, he was virtually unknown as an NBA basketball player, bouncing back and forth between G League and NBA. But he quickly became a household name for Miami after becoming an unstoppable offensive threat for the Heat, helping them reach the finals this season. But how does someone that wasn't on the radar of NBA scouts make a name for himself in the 2023 NBA playoffs? Caleb Martin was born on September 28, 1995 in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. He was raised by a single mom, Jenny Bennett. She became a mother in her teenage years with Caleb's older brother, Raheem, who was kicked out of the house. She then had Caleb and his twin brother Cody Martin a couple of years later. With their dad never in the picture, Jenny raised all three of them by herself in an insect-infested trailer park. Caleb and his brothers started playing basketball at a young age and would often go to a rundown court nearby to practice. Although Caleb grew up in a rough area full of drugs and crime, his mother did the best she could to provide for them and protect them from the outside world, often going nights without eating to make sure they ate. Caleb and his brother did everything together. They challenged each other in every sport they played, constantly making each other better. They started their high school career together at Davie County High School in Mocksville. Although Caleb played football his freshman year, he chose to pursue basketball and continued playing throughout his high school career. After his junior year, he and his twin brother Cody transferred to Oak Hill Academy in Virginia, famous for being a national basketball powerhouse, producing players like Carmelo Anthony, Rajon Rondo, and Cole Anthony. He went on to have an impressive season, as well as his brother helping lead his team to 4th overall in the nation. Finishing the season ranked in the top 100 players in his class, he received numerous D1 offers and decided to choose his home state school, North Carolina State. The brothers couldn't be separated and both went to college as a twin package. In his freshman season, Caleb helped North Carolina State reach the Sweet 16 in the NCAA tournament. His sophomore year, he earned more playing time, averaging more than 25 minutes per game in the toughest conference in basketball. Caleb averaged 11.5 points and 4.7 rebounds per game. The twins both felt like they were being held back at NC State and wanted more freedom and a fast-paced offense. They entered the transfer portal at the end of the season and narrowed down their choices to either Rutgers or Nevada, eventually choosing the Nevada Wolfpack. They immediately became one of the school's highest recruited players ever. After sitting out a year due to transfer rules, Caleb finally got a chance to play his third collegiate season and averaged 19.5 points for the Wolfpack, finishing the season being named Mountain West Conference Player of the Year. Caleb and his twin Cody helped Nevada finish in the top 25 ranking and made it all the way to the Sweet 16 during March Madness. After the season, he worked out at the draft combine and decided to return for his senior season instead of declaring for the draft. He scored 19.2 points, grabbed 5.1 rebounds, and 2.8 assists per game, leading them to the NCAA tournament again. Unfortunately, the Wolfpack lost in the first round to Florida, ending Caleb's March Madness run early. Afterwards, he declared for the 2019 NBA draft along with his brother. Caleb's brother Cody got selected by the Charlotte Hornets with the 36th pick in the second round of the NBA draft. Caleb, unfortunately, never heard his name called and went undrafted. But that didn't stop Caleb from achieving his dreams. Later that year, Martin ended up signing with the same team his brother got drafted to, the Charlotte Hornets. He originally signed a two-way contract with the team. He made his NBA debut coming off the bench with 4 points and 2 rebounds. A month later, he played in his first G League game and dropped a season-high 23 points. Moving up and down from NBA to G League happened for 2 years, and Martin was eventually waived by the Hornets on August 7, 2021. After being dropped by the Hornets, Martin signed a two-way contract a month later with the Miami Heat. He played back and forth between the Sioux Falls Skyforce and made his Heat debut on October 21, 2021, putting up 5 points and 2 steals. Later that year, Martin had his breakout game in the NBA, scoring a career-high 28 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists in a win over the Bucks. The Heat ended up making the playoffs that year, and Caleb debuted in his first career playoff game. Unfortunately, the Heat lost to the Celtics in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals and got eliminated. It was good news for Caleb, however, because his impactful play earned him a 3-year, $20 million deal with the Heat. It was this past season that Caleb really put the league on notice, especially in the 2023 playoffs. The Miami Heat went into this year's playoffs as an 8th seed, expected to get blown out by the top-seeded Milwaukee Bucks. Caleb came up big in the series, averaging 11.2 points, 5.4 rebounds, and 2 assists per game, propelling the Heat past the Bucks. During the Eastern Conference Finals, Caleb continued dominating, dropping 25 points one game and dropping 26 points and 10 rebounds during Game 7, stopping the Celtics' 3-0 comeback and leading the Heat to the 2023 NBA Finals. Even coming off the bench during certain games, he finished second in voting for Eastern Conference Finals MVP behind his teammate Jimmy Butler. Caleb shot an absurd 60.2% from the field, including 48.9% from 3. He averaged 19.3 points per game and 6.4 rebounds per game against last season's NBA Finals runner-ups. If it was not for him, the Heat could have very well been sent home early. Although the Heat ended up falling to the Nuggets in the 2023 NBA Finals, they would have made history by being the first 8th seed to ever win the NBA Finals. Going back to the question earlier, who was the lowest seed team to ever win the NBA playoffs? It was the Houston Rockets during the 1994-95 season. They entered the postseason as the 6th seed and went on to win it all. Looking back at Martin's career, it seems that he is just getting started. After finally getting the spotlight and proving himself, there is no doubt he should be expecting a good payday in the near future. The Miami Heat are known to award players who commit to their culture and help them win, and Caleb has proved he is worthy of a future spot on the Heat roster. Although the Heat fell short, Caleb Martin will remain one of the top headlines for the 2023 NBA playoffs, being a key player in the historic playoff run by this Heat squad.